Welcome to another episode of Kookievision. In this video, I'm going to be making some dinosaur sugar cookies. So I'm starting out with a Tyrannosaurus Rex shape here, and this one is going to be outlined in a pumpkin orange color. This is a number 2 tip with a piping consistency orange royal icing. And I'm just outlining the outside of it, and I'm going to flood it with the same color in a flooding consistency that I have here in a squeeze bottle. And I'll just use my scribe tool to get rid of any air bubbles and spread the icing towards the edges. So I'm going to give all of my dinosaurs some spots. So I've got these squeeze bottles here. This is a Sweet Sugar Bell squeeze bottle, and it's actually got a coupler on it, just like a piping bag, and you can put different tips on it. So it's very handy if you want a lot more control over your icing. Sometimes the openings for your regular squeeze bottles aren't big enough or small enough, and this kind of gives you a bit more control. This is a white flooding consistency with number 2 tip. And I'm just going to leave that dry, and I'm working on a Brontosaurus now, and I've got this really nice seafoam green color. I think I used a mixture of mint green with a tiniest touch of sky blue Americolor gel color, and that's just a number 2 tip with a piping consistency seafoam green, and I'm filling it in now with a flooding consistency in a squeeze bottle of the same color. And I'll just use my scribe tool to work it all towards the edges and get rid of any air bubbles. And while this dino is still wet, I'm going to be adding some more spots. So again, I've got my Sweet Sugar Bell squeeze bottle with a number 2 tip fitted onto the coupler, and I'm just giving him some spots. Try to keep it irregular, give him some nice big spots, some nice little spots, and some kind of spots in between. And that's why I love this coupler so much. This tip it keeps the shapes nice and round too. I find that when you use a regular squeeze bottle, the tips are sometimes a little irregular shaped, so you don't get that nice round spot. And that's why this bottle, I actually really enjoy it. I just got it during the holidays, so I'm happy to be using it and letting you know how well it works. So now I've got this Stegosaurus shape, and I've outlined him with a number 2 tip with a piping consistency periwinkle color, and I'm flooding it in with the same color in a flooding consistency that I have here in a squeeze bottle, and I'm just using my scribe tool to even everything out. This periwinkle color I actually made using some violet food dye mixed with a touch of sky blue, and I think there might be a little bit of white in there too, just to kind of bring down the vibrance a little bit. And while this is still wet, I'm going to use my squeeze bottle again to use some white flooding consistency royal icing and give him some nice little spots on his head and his back. And you can see those spots just sink right into the flooding consistency, so you'll have a nice flat surface when everything is completely dry. So I've let all my dinosaurs completely dry overnight, and now I'm just going to do some of the details. I'm outlining his hind legs, his arm, and I'll give him a little line where his mouth is and a nostril as well. And I'm just using the same piping consistency that I used to completely outline him before when I was doing the flooding. I've also got a number 2 tip here, piping bag, with some black royal icing as well, and a number 2 tip again with some white royal icing, just to give him some little teeth. And there you go, here's a little T-Rex. And on to the Brontosaurus, where I'm using the same piping consistency seafoam green that I used to outline him, and I'm outlining his feet too, just so they don't look like, they have just 2 giant feet. You want to give them 4 feet, so it kind of gives them a little bit of dimension. And I'm just adding a little eye here with a number 2 tip with a piping consistency black royal icing. And that's the Brontosaurus. And last but not least is the Stegosaurus. I'm giving him a mouth and his nostril as well as his little feet. Again, make sure he has 4 feet, not 2. And I will give him a little eye with the black royal icing. And apparently I forgot to give him a nostril, so we have to give him a nostril so he can breathe. And next I've got some nice blue here. This is a bit of sky blue mixed with a touch of black just to bring down the vibrance a little bit. And this is a number 2 tip, piping consistency. And I'm just basically starting at the base, making it nice and wide, and then tapering to a point. And you'll see that the icing kind of settles out. It gets rid of any bumps or anything like that, because it is a bit of a looser consistency than the piping consistency. So there you go. 3 different types of dinosaurs. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Be sure to like me on Facebook and on Instagram. See ya!
Rawr.